Hey everybody, welcome back to the Vibe Guide. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. If you're watching on YouTube, we are in my kitchen. Um, anyways, this week I didn't really have like a specific topic. So I relied on tarot this week, and so we'll get into that. I kind of pulled a couple cards just for my listeners and like maybe some messages that you guys need to hear that might resonate and maybe not. I don't know. Um, but before we do that, I figured I'd give a little bit of an update because I know the last episode I left off talking about um more physical stuff with me, like my lab work and stuff like that. And I had a meeting with my naturopath this week, actually, which was really helpful and kind of relieved me a little bit of like the cholesterol scare. I was like, oh my gosh, if my LDLs are high and I eat as clean as I can, it's like I might as well just eat McDonald's every day. Like, what is the point? So she was like, no, don't do that. She was like, I think it's more related to cortisol and definitely having PCOS can kind of make it a little bit more um, like I'm more susceptible to higher levels of cholesterol. So related to stress, probably more than anything. And so that just kind of brought to mind like I need to really be more disciplined in my meditation. I've really fallen off with that and I don't like that. I actually did an hour-long meditation the other day, and I just felt really good till I was like, "Okay, I'm back, like, I can still do this." So it takes me a little bit, like, it's very much a practice, so it takes me a little bit longer to get into that really deep space, but that's okay. I mean, I don't I have the time to do it, thankfully. So, yeah, it just brought to mind that there's more, I need to be paying attention more to my the tools that I know work for me and like stress because I know where the stress is coming from. And a lot of it can just be from my own mind. And this is the part, I always talk about the heart mind connection and how important it is and to balance those two areas. And it's not easy. And like, I teach it, I preach it, I do it myself, but it's not easy. So there are days that I let my brain get the better of me, and I do think that that contributes to higher levels of stress and me not feeling my best. So it's been so hot here, you guys. I live in Virginia and it's just been miserable and I haven't been outside like I normally am and in nature, and nature is incredibly grounding and it really brings you back to center, and I just feel like there's so much swirling around in the world today that it's so important to ground even more than usual. And so it being so hot and I'm a redhead and I'm a ginger and I've had melanoma, I avoid the sun at all cost. That's probably why my vitamin D levels are a little bit low as well. I also think that's genetic. Like I think having Irish heritage, my mom is Irish. She had I called her and, like, told her my lab results because she's a nurse as well, and she was like, "Oh, that's funny." She was like, "I had super low, very critical levels of vitamin D." Like, they were like gave me the super max dose and were like, "You need to take this immediately." So, I think a little bit of a genetic component. Also, the naturopath told me, you guys, I don't know if you know this, she said mushrooms are the best source of vitamin D, hands down. I eat no mushrooms. I'm not a mushroom girly. Never been a mushroom girly. I tried, like, that mushroom coffee, like, the Four Sigmatic company. I tried all their stuff, it didn't really do much for me. Not a mushroom gal. So, I don't know, maybe I need to start incorporating mushrooms into my diet? I don't know. I don't know, it's like a texture thing. There's not a whole lot of stuff that I don't like eggplant and mushrooms, like, I'll eat it, absolutely, no problem, but, like, I'm not gonna go buy it and cook it, and I don't know. I think it's like a textural thing, like, I don't like that mush. I don't know. Um, so that was interesting. Other than that, like, other little updates, I don't really have too much. I am going to see, an acupuncturist tomorrow, and she's also a functional medicine practitioner. So I'm going to do that tomorrow, so that's exciting. So we'll see. I'll give you guys the update next week on, the acupuncture and what that was about, because I've never done that before, but I do feel like it'll be helpful for stress release, and I grind my teeth really bad, I have TMJ, I wake up a lot of mornings with headaches, and, um yeah, so I don't know. I'm very, very, very curious, and I was talking to my naturopath about it, and she was like, "Oh, I love acupuncture. I do it. I used to do it literally all the time." She was like, "It was so funny because I would go in for like one symptom that I, was having, and then they would say, "Well, it's related to your spleen," and like just like the most random things that you wouldn't think, but she was like, "It really does unblock those little points of energy that are stuck in your body and really helps the chi." I guess is what it is. I know nothing about acupuncture, you guys. I'm just going in open mind and ready to learn all the things. So she was like, "Yeah, get your chi flowing." And I was like, "Yes, I want my chi flowing." All the chi. And it always makes me think of like chia pets. And also, you guys know the hair straighteners and stuff that everyone was like obsessed with having. The chi, I think it was what it was called or something, like CHI. I don't know. I never had one. Never got one of those. Anyways, what else can I update you guys with? Oh, my hummingbirds are thriving, if anyone cares. They're absolutely thriving in my backyard. There's like 5 or 6 of them. It's hard to keep count because they zoom all around and I noticed that they like fight in pairs, I feel like. So maybe there's 6 to like keep it even. But the other ones came out of nowhere like this past week. And I'm like, oh my God, they like my backyard. I'm so flattered. Like, I just get so excited. And they like I was worried because one of my new feeders has a little water feature on the top because apparently hummingbirds are attracted to the sound of running water. Like they like that. They haven't taken a bath that I've noticed in what I have. Um, but I don't know. I guess they like it. And now they're like sitting on the feeders. They're also sitting on our clothesline, and it's just the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, hummies are thriving, you guys. For those that want the update on the hummies, they're thriving in my backyard, and I'm so excited. It brings me so much joy just watching them all day. So yeah, that's it. I feel like I need to really be more disciplined in handling my stress levels and oh, I'm going to see a or not see, I'm having a Zoom meeting with a karmic astrologer. You guys, I'm excited because this came out of absolute left field last night, or maybe it was the night before. I was on YouTube. I watch everything on YouTube. I don't really listen to podcasts, but I watch a lot on YouTube, and I'll leave it and like go do the dishes or whatever. And, I just like to have it on the background. I think I listen to a lot of like holistic health and spirituality and like all the things that like I talk about, like I listen to. So this one just popped up out of nowhere. His name is Aubrey something. Like I have no idea who he even is. I don't know anything about this guy. I couldn't even tell you his last name, but he's apparently a podcaster as well. Very well known. I've never heard of him. I don't even know what he's into. What I got the vibe that it was like from he really explores like relationships and those dynamics. But anyways, he had on this astrologer. She's like a psychologist astrologer, and I think her name, I can literally look it up really quick on Instagram because I just followed her. Um, but she was very interesting. Like she has a PhD she's a psychotherapist. Um, and she was like had such unique energy. She was very her name is Deborah Silverman. So she's an astrologer, teacher, psychotherapist, author. And anyways, like right from the jump, I was like, "Ooh, what are they talking about?" So she kept bringing up Saturn. So they were kind of going through his birth chart because he was like a critic of astrology and like didn't believe in it and was like, I don't know, I'm not buying it. But then she read his birth chart and like they went through it, and she is a very specific type of astrology too. Like a lot of people in that industry, they really do have their own specific way of like reading astrology. And astrology, you guys, is so intricate and it is such an ancient science that if you're having astrology readings and things like that done, like make sure you know who's doing it because it is so layered and it's really, really, really amazing. And so you have to have someone that can like put all those pieces together. Like I want someone who's been doing it for decades, like because it's just like the more you experience and the more charts you read and the more you get familiar with it, the more you know. And I don't know. I kind of think it's like a lot of things in life. Like you want somebody a little bit more experienced, not shouting out, not like putting down people who are new and doing it because they can be incredible themselves. But what I've found is like it is just such an intricate process and there's just so much to someone's chart. Um, that I think starting out, I really want someone who's like, because I've never had my birth chart read, never. For as much as I talk about it and study it and like look up things for myself, I've never had it read. So I'm really, really, really want my birth chart read. But I haven't found anyone that I'm like 100% want to pay them to like deep dive into my birth chart yet. But I found this woman and she started talking about, immediately they were talking about his Saturn and where his what sign is in, Saturn for him and what house it's in and that's really the soul's purpose on this planet. And so if you look and see where Saturn is in your chart, that can tell you a lot. So immediately got my computer and was like, where's my Saturn? My Saturn is in Capricorn in the 10th house. So to me, I read all about it. So I Googled it and I came across another astrologer, and she's a karmic astrologer. So she specializes in this form of astrology, this very particular part of the chart. And her name is Karen Black. And so I booked a reading with her because she had a website. She has a website. And I got so much information about my karmic, like what my soul's purpose is on this planet from her website. And it was like giving me chill bumps the entire time I was reading it because I was like, oh my God. Like it explains so much of the way that my life has rolled out and so much of like my trauma points and so much of some of the harder things that I've gone through in life and how they're pertain to family. And like Capricorn is the like father of the zodiac and all about that energy. And like you guys know, if you listen, like I had that issue. I'm estranged from my dad and other members of my family. And it gave me a lot of clarity in that. And I was just like, whoa, like I had no idea any of this. I have so much Capricorn in my birth chart, but I don't know what it means. And I don't really particularly I don't know, I don't know anything about Capricorn. I know that they're like very driven, it is like that like fatherly energy. And like I don't know. I've always just resonated with like my Sagittarius side, my Aries side. I'd never really looked into the Capricornness of my chart, but I'm born on the cusp. So I am what they call a Sagicorn. So I have such strong elements of both, but I've just never looked into it. And then reading all about it, I was like, oh, okay. And also in my career and things being kind of a steady, slow burn. And that's been very frustrating for me. But now that I've read that, I'm like, oh my God, like I get it because I've been feeling so much frustration around why I'm back in nursing. And I'm feeling like burnt out again a little bit. Not even close to what I was feeling when I was in acute care, but I am starting to feel that frustration of like, I would like something else in my life. Like I don't feel like nursing is the end all be all. And I have opened myself up with this podcast. And so the podcast has just been slutty. Why do I keep saying that? Slutty, slutty, steady, slow growth. And it's taught me a lot because there's been a lot of times where I have contemplated because it's slow growth. It's like, well, it must not be working. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, in my mind and in this world, it's like people they can have instant recognition and instant fame or whatever, like on TikTok and these things, and they can go viral and like within minutes their lives change. So like for me, I had that energy. I like thought maybe something like that would kind of take off for me. But then reading my karmic energy, it's not about that. And like that's the lesson that I had to learn is like the patience in it and like putting in the day after day. And like it's so foreign to me, like being a Sagittarius and having fire energy and having a Aries rising. It's just like I'm like go go. Like I want things to like pick up and go and like let's go. Or like I'm losing interest in like, this podcast has been the one thing that I've really stuck with. It's been over a year. The year was June 28th. That was the marker of my 1 year anniversary doing this. And we're past that. And I just feel like a little proud that I've like really hung in here for a year. There has been some blips and there's been some silence and there's been some weeks where I didn't post anything and I didn't do anything. But overall, like I've stuck through it. I've just continued to keep grinding away, just little by little, just keep putting out the episodes that I feel like are going to help people in some way. Like that's the point of doing what I'm doing. And it's just been really fascinating. So having that Saturn karmic, energy be put right in front of me to kind of help me because I've been struggling a little bit these past couple weeks more than usual with everything. And I don't know, like reading it, I was like, okay, that makes so much sense. And that is what astrology does. Like it's meant to help you and like understand yourself because you're with yourself for the rest of your life. Like hate it or love it. Like you're not going, you know what I mean? Like you have to deal with yourself day in and day out. And these tools are like a way to help us understand that because I do feel like, and I'm reading The Seat of the Soul. Also, this episode's taking such a turn, you guys, but I don't care. I'm reading Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukov, and it's like giving me chill bumps. Like every sentence I read, I'm just like, yes, like, oh my God, like that's like it puts words to like what I feel and like what I know. And like I've never been able to like say it or like make it, I don't know, make like earthly sense, I guess. But how he explains it is that, and this is also where I'm coming to this, like with this Saturn karmic energy, right? In our charts and our astrology and our birth charts and like where your Saturn is and understanding your purpose for this life, it's karmic and it's a lot of it our souls, it's like very spirally. Like what I envision and what I see in my mind is like our souls they never die. We just it's very circular energy. Like whatever you don't pass, whatever exam or exams, whatever lessons you don't learn in this lifetime, you're going to come back around in some form or fashion in order to get the lesson. Right? I don't know what the end game is. I haven't gotten that far, but what I'm understanding and what I'm reading in this book is like we have a personality, right? Like what you see right here, right now is my personality. Also, we have a soul. So my soul has basically inhabited this human body, this being to express itself for whatever reason. And I just think the closer that we get to being one with that energy, like what was one of the examples he gave? Like, okay, if you're on say we're going back to like Christopher Columbus. Okay. Say you're sailing across the ocean, you have a mothership, right? The mothership is like the head of everything. And then you have all these little boats behind us, like say like little sailboats. And how he explains it is like the mothership is the soul. So the soul leads you in one direction. What those little boats do behind is up to the little boats, right? One little boat could turn around and say, "No, this ain't for me. I'm going back." And they'll probably hit turbulent waters. They'll be all alone. They'll might hit a hurricane on the way back. They might die. I don't know. You know what I mean? But like they're going in the opposite direction of the mothership. The other ones might go a little bit more right to get where they're going. They might go a little bit more left. You know what I mean? And on those individual journeys and in those individual boats, there's different experiences. One boat might have a super happy, joyous, loving experience. The other one might have bubonic plague. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of like the what I'm like digesting from this book and what I'm learning. And then also it came up in this like, you know, looking at my birth chart and understanding the karmic Saturn. that energy. Like, what's my soul's purpose, you know? And being able to come closer to that in a way. And I feel like that is the goal. It's like you want to be a flowy individual. Like what I imagine is like your personality and your soul, once they combine into one, and once you really become that, like that's what it is. Like that's how you become your most authentic self, is like your soul is not separate from this personality, from this being, this humanly being that you are. Like they become one, and it's hard to tell where the soul ends and the human starts, and it's hard to tell where the human starts and the soul ends. Like I feel like that's the goal. And so I just feel like getting this karmic birth chart reading. And it's also one other thing. I can't remember what it is. But it was kind of two in one. I just feel like that's another little like I feel like it's gonna help me. I feel like I've also had a lot of worries, and I have been like speaking with, some of my friends about this, like everything that went on with my family. I have I was like very fearful about my karmic like legacy. Like what is this gonna infiltrate my children, and is it going to cause them damage? And you know what I mean? Am I perpetuating a cycle? Like, did I fall into the trap or did I break the cycle? You know what I mean? And then reading um, where my Saturn is in Capricorn and reading all about it, it seems like I might have passed a test a little bit, because that's a big part of like my karmic journey, was like, which I'm gonna dive into it with her, because like I don't know. Like she's the expert and I just have so many questions, because I'm like, I don't know. And I feel like I just did my dad shady, but I mean, it's true. Like, I, there's a lot of reasons why I don't have that relationship in my life. And I feel at peace with it. But I do have this bit of like, I get, I'm like, damn, it's not that I do the right thing, but like karmically, like, did I fuck up? Did I just make it way worse? But I don't feel that. And so reading that just gave me a lot of clarity, you guys. And it really helped me understand that this is a part of my life journey. Like this is unique to me. Unfortunately, I'm like, damn, like again, why couldn't I just have like this like super fucking chill, like why you know what I mean? But everybody's got their karma. Everybody's got their own specific karma. I don't know anything about past lives, you guys. Like that's never been something that I've like truly been pulled towards until now. Like I've had little bits and pieces of people telling me things here and there, but like nothing's ever really resonated with me. But also what this astrologer said in the podcast, I'm going back to what's her name? Silverman. Deborah Silverman. So she mentioned that what oh, now I lost my thought. What was I talking about? Oh, you guys, it was such a good point. Can't remember, because it was so helpful for me. Um, was it about past lives? Oh, shit. I can't remember. God, I hate that. Well, you know what? It just wasn't meant to be, I guess. I don't know. So anyways, it should be very interesting to see what she has to say. And I'm hoping maybe she'll be okay with like me recording the Zoom session and like using it as an episode. I don't know if I'm gonna put out like my whole personal life. You know what I mean? Like, do I really want people knowing like my time of birth out there in the universe? No, not really. Although I think it's like public information. I don't know. Because I always wonder how these astrologers get like celebrities and stuff, and they know their time of birth. I'm like, how? How do they know that? I don't know. I guess I don't know. You can call and ask somebody for that information. I'm not too sure. I don't know. Um, So, anyways, let's just jump into the tarot of it all. So, I pulled 2 tarot cards and I kind of asked my guides and my higher self for guidance for this episode and to what are the messages that my listeners may or may not need at this point in time. So, I first pulled the Page of Pentacles, and it was reversed, which is also very interesting to me because I don't work in reverses. I am not that good at tarot. It's very new to me. I only do it for myself, and I don't work in reverses because it's hard enough to like learn and understand and apply to my life and to pick out what is trying to be conveyed to me with just the upright meanings. So, anyways, the Page of Pentacles came out reversed. So did the Ominous, which everyone gets nervous when this card. Well, I feel like the Tower card makes everyone really nervous. The Devil card makes people really nervous. And the Three of Swords, because it's just kind of sad. The Three of Swords is the heart with the three swords through it and the storm in the background, for those of you that don't know. Um, so yeah, that was reversed as well. So both of these were reversed. So I was like, okay, I definitely have to Google these because I don't know. So I thought I would just read to you guys what they are instead of me. I'll give you my intuitive. So the Page of Pentacles is this younger guy. It's like a young adult. He's a male. Um, Pentacles symbolizes money to me. So having it be reversed symbolizes to me like maybe put like new business things on hold. Maybe you need to, which is actually what I read, like after I kind of got my own intuitive hits from it. Um, it shows a little bit of like that inexperience, or maybe you need to go back to the drawing board and be like, why am I doing this again? Like, what's the intention behind it? Like maybe things aren't flowing out the way that you thought they would, or financially you might have some barriers. So that's kind of what I got from the Page of Pentacles. So I'll read to you what the website says. It says the Page of Pentacles reverse says you are exploring a new project or business idea, but you're not ready to move forward with it just yet, which is basically what I just said. Um, you may worry you do not have the skills or resources for it to succeed, so you're putting the idea on hold or procrastinating. Procrastinating is a good word. So, if the opportunity continues to present itself to you and you want to move forward, trust that you have what you need now and the rest will develop as you process or progress, which I can speak to as far as this podcast because there was a point in time where I was procrastinating. I was so caught up in being seen and being heard, and I was so scared and it truly just felt so uncomfortable to me. And then the more that it just kind of kept coming up over and over and over in different ways. And the more, I got comfortable with this side of myself and the more spiritual I became, I really started to pay attention to the signs. And the signs just kept leading me towards the path of the podcast. So I just eventually bit the bullet and started. I didn't know anything about podcasts. I didn't know how, I knew the bare minimum. I knew how to like record. I was learning how to edit. I was learning all of it on my own. I was just Googling and YouTubing, sitting in Greece, like, what the hell am I doing? I don't even know. And I just had my phone and my earplugs with my microphone and I just started it. And so I think that that's like a very important piece to the Page of Pentacles is like it's a younger guy. It's like inexperienced, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. That doesn't mean that you have to like procrastinate and like think you need all these certifications and think you need all these things to do it. Sometimes in some cases you do, but like that's what I thought with life coaching. It was like I went and got that certification and then I was like, I mean, it was helpful. I'm glad I did it, but like I also don't know that I needed that to be a successful life coach. Like I think I was kind of selling myself short a little bit. So, very interesting. So it goes on to say, the reverse Page of Pentacles can suggest you are trying to get a specific project or idea off the ground, but each time you try, it seems to amount to nothing or takes you even further away from where you want to be. Maybe you have not planned sufficiently, you've lost sight of your original inspiration, or you're trying too hard. Give yourself some space and step away from the project for a short period so you can re energize and refocus before trying again. This is also, I can relate to that for sure. And I do this all the time, you guys. Like, I'll miss a week. I missed last week for the podcast. Nothing was coming up. It's just like I let it be what it is. It's okay. I give it the space that I need to. And if it comes back around or if my feelings change, like I also feel like normalize that, you guys. Like I just saw for those like Childish Gambino, he's like an actor, rapper, but like he has these personas and he's like put that one to bed. He's like, yeah, just like I'm not like it's just not my energy anymore. I don't want to do it. Like I'm over it. Basically is what he said. Like a lot more eloquently he said that. It was in like New York Times. I saw it on Instagram. But I was like, see, like that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't have to be this picture perfect thing. And like you can start out doing something and then be like, you know what? I don't like it's not my vibe anymore. I'm gonna do something else. Like does it cost you money, maybe? I don't know. Like, sure, but you can normalize the reinventing yourself as many fucking times as you want. Okay. Like give yourself some space. If it's not working out and it's not coming back to you, maybe it's time to drop it. I don't know. Or maybe you'll feel re-energized. You'll want to pick it back up. You'll have more, inspiration, creative juices might flow after a break, and like you drop back into it. So I thought that was like an interesting piece for that card. And it also says you may be busy daydreaming about new goals without having taken any action on your original ones. So you need to review your goals and think again about why you were initially motivated to achieve them. Imagine what it would be like to Imagine what it would be like once you accomplish that goal and recommit to the actions required to make your dreams a reality. The last little bit is finally the Page of Pentacles reversed invites you to learn from your past mistakes. Even if a situation has not worked out the way you expected it would, you can discover new aspects of yourself that might help in the future. If you are struggling to see where you may have gone wrong, ask yourself, what can I what can I learn from these experiences and how can I avoid making the same mistakes again? Be open-minded and curious and trust that today's failures will lead to tomorrow's successes. I can't, you know, reiterate that enough. It's so true. Do not beat yourself up for mistakes. And like if something didn't work out, like it's just all lessons learned, you guys. And the more I learn about astrology and like seeing all these bits and pieces of my life fall together like a perfect puzzle, it's like don't stress because all of these things are meant to teach us. They're all put on our path for a very specific reason. It's all I'm almost like questioning, I'm like, do we even have free will anymore? Like, I don't even know if we do, to be fair. Like, I don't know. I'm starting to think it's like all a little premeditated. Every single thing. Um, I mean, that's for another discussion. I don't even know, you know, I don't know if that's a hot take, but I do think like we learn so much from our mistakes and they're lessons that your soul needs to learn. It's lessons that your soul has called in for itself. So don't beat yourself up. Don't analyze it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Just do some journaling about it. Like get a little bit deeper and then give yourself permission to let it go. Burn some sage, burn the fucking piece of paper. Like let it go. Take what you need to from it and leave the rest. I've had to really, really work on that. Like I said, with like my family situation, like I just have to take the lessons, right? I'm an imperfect human being and I now have more clarity on why that situation happened because of my karma and what's been going on in my life. And I hope something like that doesn't ever happen again. And I don't think that it will because I feel like I learned the lesson. Like I got it. You know what I mean? Like I know where I fucked up. I know my mistakes. I know I'm a better human being than that. And like I know that there are certain bits and pieces that I'm not super proud of, but I'm not going to hold on to shame about it. I'm just not. I'm not going to. So, and that's a lesson in itself. That's a lesson in itself. Don't fucking hang on to that stuff? So that's kind of all I have for the Page of Pentacles. If that resonates with you guys, like definitely let me know. I'm so curious. I've never pulled really for like community or, this podcast specifically. So I'm so curious if either one of these cards like resonates with you guys, please let me know. Shoot me a message. Um, 'Cause I'm always just like, "Is this working?" Like, knock, knock, knock. Tarot works for me, you guys. I pull for myself all the time, and I'm, like, amazed. I'm just like, "Damn," like, tarot really hits the mark, and I don't know how. Like, it's just so crazy, it's wild, it's so cool. But like I said, I don't pull for other people, I've never really done that. Like, for friends, I have in the past, but for, like, collective energy, I've never done that, so let me know, you guys. So, the next card is the 3 of Swords. So reversed, it means negative it can signify negative self-talk, releasing pain, optimism, and forgiveness. Um so for those of you that don't know what it looks like, I would just Googling it really quick. Upright, it really, like, signifies, like, heartbreak, and it can be heartbreak in, like, a lot of different meanings, like, you could be doing it to yourself, you could be self-sabotaging. The swords is air energy, it's all about our thoughts, our, ideas, like, how we speak to ourselves, like, that kinda energy. So, usually upright, it means just kind of like a heartbreak. It can mean, like, a romantic ending, like, that kinda heartbreak. It can mean a lot of different things. It can also be a mirror. Like, for me, I do think that the clouds kinda signify, like, the storm clouds behind it. I do feel like it's kind of like a mirror of, like, yes, you're going through this really hard time and your heart's broken for whatever reason, mind, body, spirit, whatever. But, like, the clouds will clear. The clouds will clear. Like, that's what I love about tarot is there's always a signal of hope in every card. Even the ones that people are, like, terrified of, like the devil. Oh my god, like, and the devil has nothing to do with the devil, you know? It's like but there's always, like, an ounce of positivity and hope in, like, every card, and I love that about tarot. It just makes me feel good. So the 3 of Swords reversed, I'm just gonna read it to you guys again because, like I said, I don't do reversals, so it was a little bit more complicated for me to have my own intuitive take. What I basically just said was my, like, intuitive take on it. I just feel like it can be a little bit of a tough time. But I do feel like reversed means you're kind of getting through it. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like we're kind of on, like, the up and up. Like, we've had this thing happen, and then we're just like, "All right, we're healing, we're growing, we're going, it's all good." Like, it's reversed. It's not like you're in it. Because if it was upright, I would feel like then you're kind of in it actively. But it being reversed gives me more of the energy of, like, "Okay, like, we're moving. Like, it's okay. Like, that fucking hurt like shit, but we're like, we're okay. We're okay." So the 3 of Swords reverse encourage you to pay attention to your inner thoughts and self-talk. Your words are powerful, especially those you repeat to yourself day after day. You may be prone to self-criticism, limiting beliefs, and negative self-talk. You may identify with your inner mean girl or boy who is constantly telling you you're not good enough. When you hear these negative thoughts come up, ask yourself whether you would ever utter these words to a friend or loved one. If the answer is hell no, then why are you speaking these words to yourself? Amen. Amen. Look at how you can shift your thoughts towards the positive to reinforce your confidence. You have what it takes to be the person you deserve to be. I was like, this little website, thank you. Like, therapy, all you need to do is a little tarot. I was like, okay. Like, because, the last episode I talked about that. Like, things can happen in life and, like, get you down and, like, get you in a little bit of a spiral. And it sucks when you're in that space and you're just, like, constantly kind of beating yourself up. And, like, sometimes you don't even catch it. And so it's, like, about that little piece of awareness, like, how are you talking to yourself? Like, that little voice in your head, like, what is it saying? And I've just gotten so aware of it, and I'm human, it slips, but I do feel like on a day in and day out basis, I'm like, bitch, no, no, shut up." Like, I'm mean to her. I'm like, "Don't come in here with that energy, like, we're not doing that today." And it happens, I mean, it's, like, every day, you guys, like, when I wake up and, like, this nursing journey is a little tough for me at the moment, so I'm, like, waking up and kind of already feeling, like, the negativity, and I just shut it down immediately. Sometimes I have to do I have, like, these walking meditations. I use the, what app is it? Superhuman app, and those are, like, walking active, like, listening meditations, and they kind of, like, turn the energy around, and there's so many different categories, like, oh my gosh, like, there's a million, uh visualizations and, just like pep talks. That's sometimes I need that in the morning because, like, I just can't do it myself. But that self talk can get you. So that's a very important thing. And I'm glad that was brought up again this week because I think it's very important. You may also be hypersensitive to others' words and need to develop a thicker skin. Let go of the hurt that these words are causing you. It will only hold you back. And do some self reflection. What has triggered your feelings and why? And how might you address the underlying issue? For example, if you are upset by a friend's accusation that you are selfish, look within yourself to see where you may be acting selfishly. If this behavior is no longer serving you, then let it go. I think that speaks for itself. Like, I definitely can be very hypersensitive. I'm a sensitive person in general. I can be very hypersensitive. And I do that now. I definitely, in the last situation I talked about in the last episode, I definitely like went internal before I did anything or like made any decisions about any of that. I just was like, why did that upset me when so and so did that? Like, it sent that message. Like, why did that upset me? And I did like a little bit of, work on that and just kind of journaled it out and figured it out for myself. Um, And, before previously, I would have just like blamed the other person and been like, well, of course they would say that. Like they're this way and that way. And now I let other people be in their energy. And like, if that's what they choose to do and like choose how to show up in the world, that's fine. But like how it hits in my body and how it hits with me is my responsibility to reflect on it and to figure out why did that cause me to get upset, I've had that a lot. Like I accidentally looked through old text messages. Um, I was going in, I had a new phone number, and so I was going in and I was deleting some stuff and just right it kind of popped up like an old text message that I never fully read from the situation with my family, and it really triggered me. Like I immediately got so angry. I was like, "Whoa." Like, right back in that day, right back in those feelings, like, very, 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 very tough to, like, see that and read it again, and I was just like, "Whoa, man," like, talk about a trigger, holy shit, like, I went for a walk, I journaled about it, I just, like, let it, like, rage through for a minute, you know what I mean? And I had to figure out, like, what is this about, And I did, and I feel better about it, and I can read that text message now and not have that same energy towards it. So, yeah, make sure when you have, if you're feeling like maybe you're being hypersensitive, that's okay, but just, you know, take a little bit of accountability where you can. And if it's possible, definitely look a little bit more inward. Um, this also thought came to me, the example that they gave, they said, for example, if you're upset by a friend's accusation that you're selfish, look within yourself to see where you may be acting selfishly. Um, what came immediately to my head was like, be careful of gaslighters, like be careful of people who put things in your head that you're really not that person, you're not, and they'll say things to project. So I would be careful about that. Like, we all have a fairly good idea of, like, who we are, and if someone called me selfish, I would be like, "Okay, like, yeah, like, I can be selfish, like, where am I being selfish right now? Yeah, like, okay." But, if someone called me a lying, fucking psychotic asshole, I would be like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna reflect on that because that's just not true." You know what I mean? So, just be careful with that too. Just be careful. Okay. The Three of Swords reverse can indicate that you have recently gone through a difficult patch in which a relationship has ended or been challenged, a loved one has passed, or you were hurt by a situation that affected you deeply. Thankfully, the reversal of this card suggests that this time has passed. That's what I was talking about. Like, it's kind of like we're like, okay, we're like getting over we had a super painful thing. Now we're moving on. It says, and you're on the path to recovery, realizing that with every cloud comes a silver lining, and you have other things in your life which bring you joy. You have reached a point where you can accept the pain and you're ready to move forward. And I love that because that's such a good feeling when you get to that place of you're kind of out of that pain bubble and just like so emotional and feeling so hurt. And then you start to feel that little shift in yourself, and then you start to, like, appreciate the person and appreciate the pain and appreciate what they brought to your life, even though it hurt like a motherfucker, and you know that it's just growth for yourself and you can appreciate it. Like, that's a good I love being in that space when I'm like, "You know what? Okay, I got it. It is what it is. Like, this was a lesson for me. I'm gonna like, please God help me learn this lesson and help me learn it forever because I don't want to experience this again. Please don't bring it back around. I think I'm done with this karma. I appreciate it. I hope I pray to God I'm learning the lessons that I need to learn. Like, thank you, you know? That's a good place to be in. And I never thought about that until today with this card. And I've also never had a reverse, so I never really had an opportunity to think about that. But that's such a beautiful message with this card. Okay, it says on the flip side, the reverse Three of Swords might point out that you are finding it hard to move on from a recent loss or heartbreak. This card reveals that you are still suffering from an earlier loss and need to go through the emotional purging to free yourself from your past. You are doing the best to leave this behind and make a new life, but you still have a long journey ahead. Be careful that you're not getting stuck in the moment of grief and instead focusing on embracing new opportunities. It is always hard to bear pain of separation or understand why you have been inflicted with such sorrow. Learn to accept your circumstances, that this healing process will not become blocked. Allow yourself to experience the pain. Give yourself the right to grieve and release the heartache. Open the door to new experiences. When you see the reverse Three of Swords, ask yourself, in what ways am I suffering? What am I most sorrowful about? Sorrowful about. Don't think I've ever said that word. What can I do to release this pain and learn from it? So, I feel like that's kind of like the very beginning of that journey of like the reversed part is where you're starting to be like, oh, okay, how am I going to get through this? Like, what can I do to like help myself through this? You know, I feel like that's kind of like the starting point. And then what I was talking about before is like you get to that point and then you're like, okay, we're good. Like, I got it. I got the lesson. I don't hate that person. It just is what it is. Like, I'm not going to hold on to that resentment. I'm not going to do all that. Like, it's fine, you know? It says if you're experiencing challenges in your relationship, the reverse Three of Swords serves as a reminder to be the peacemaker. Always think before you speak, so you will not later regret what you have said, and never be afraid to say you are sorry and mean it. Like give a good ass apology. Like I hate a like little passive aggressive apology or like a little manipulative apology. I'm just like, you know what? Throw that right in the trash because I don't need it. Or I'm sorry, but like, no. Throw it in the trash. I don't need it. So, anyways, you guys, I hope that these messages help you guys. Like I said, please let me know. I'm so curious. And if you guys like this was kind of heavy energy, to be honest. So I just want to like send you guys lots of love if people are experiencing the things that I pulled in this tarot card and like kind of what the messages were that came through. We are in a little bit of like a weird space, I feel like, in the collective as well. And there's just a lot going on in the world. And, you know, I just want to really, really, really encourage people. I know I said this earlier to ground, to get out into nature and to walk around in your bare feet, to, you know, appreciate the beauty of nature, you know, go for a swim. Um, I don't know, just like we don't even like sit in the sand anymore. I feel like only kids do that. And it's like, you know what, get in the sand, like get dirty, you know, like don't take your beach chair, just take yourself and like sit in the sand and like really touch the earth. And I mean, it might sound like woo woo or whatever, like hug a fucking tree for real. Like I'm not even exaggerating. Like we've just become so far removed from being a part of this earth. Like we think we're so separate and we're not. We're so interconnected. Even like on a biological cellular level, we're so connected with our environment. And so it's not silly and it's not crazy. And if anyone ever says anything to you about hugging a tree or sitting in the sand and, you know, not sitting on a beach chair or I don't know, laying out in your backyard or like dancing in the full moon butt ass naked in your own yard, tell them, well, Caroline said I could. Because it truly does help, you guys. It really does start to heal and it starts to put things into perspective and brings a lot of calming energy to the system, to the body. When everything the other card that I did pull that I didn't really wanna speak about, it didn't really feel fitting, but now that I'm saying this, it kinda did, was the 8 of Wands. And the 8 of Wands is like really fast energy, like really fast energy. Things are flowing around. It can mean things are coming in very quickly for you. Maybe you're having a lot of opportunities. Maybe relationships are leaving really fast. Maybe you're moving really fast. It's very quick energy. It's fast energy. So the fact that I'm saying grounding and that I did pull that card, but I didn't really want to talk about it. I think it's very fitting. There's just a lot swirling around in the world. So just a little reminder for you guys, just try and, remember to unplug from it all and be conscious about it and consciously unplug and get all the devices and the electronics away from you. And because all this stuff has an effect on us, you guys, it really does. So, sending lots of love to you guys like this week. I don't know if anyone's going through like a heartbreak, like that breaks my heart, and that's okay. And you'll get through it, and it's okay. Um, I hate saying, like, relationship stuff. It just, like it really does break my heart, like, especially, like, relationships ending, and it makes me, like, sad, and I feel so bad, and, like, I'm like, "Oh, I know how bad that feels. I get it." Like, "Oh, but you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay." Like, just remember to take the lessons from it and, like, just keep a whole lot of gratitude in your heart for the other person and just be so grateful for the lessons that they gave you and, maybe the gifts that they gave you. Like, I don't you know what I mean? Like, maybe you have children together or, like, maybe you shared a beautiful home or, whatever it is. Like, maybe they showed you love for the first time or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I feel like somebody out there needs to hear it. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm sending you lots of love, like, lots of, like, energetic hugs and shit like that because I feel like we all need it. So I I hope you guys are probably like, "Caroline is crazy." But I mean it. And, my DMs and all the things are always open and you guys send me beautiful messages and I just appreciate it and I love that connection and I hope this resonates with you guys and please let me know if it does. I'm so curious. So as always, if you watch on YouTube, make sure you like the videos, you guys. We're just starting out and growing, and I have, like, little single digit views on my videos, and I think it's just the cutest thing. So, in the tech world, it matters a lot if you subscribe to my videos and like them. Also, on the podcast, you can leave a five-star rating. So, if you go to the very, like, front of my podcast where all of the episodes are listed and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can leave however many stars you want, and you can also write a review, which is just really helpful in the tech world. I know you guys send me so many beautiful messages, but in like the tech world and like growing a podcast, like apparently that's very important. So I'm learning, we're all learning. Trying to be as comfortable as I can by asking you guys to do that. And, it's just a part of the game. It's like part of the experience and like podcasting and being comfortable with asking for what I need and what I need from you guys. And so I appreciate you guys so much. Sending so much love to you guys, especially anybody that's like going through what I was talking about before, sending you guys extra love. So hope you guys have a wonderful week as always, and we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.